Here is my case in defense of Rodgers and Hammerstein. Hi guys! So, I have heard this opinion a lot among a lot of younger musical theatre enthusiasts that old school musical theatre is hard to get on board with. First things first, I love my Waitresses and my Dear Evan Hansons and my In the Heights and my Hamiltons and everything that is evolving musical theatre today. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love a good belt as much as the next person. But I fail to understand how you can appreciate what is changing musical theatre today without understanding how it changed before you were born. Or before your parents were born. You need to build the foundations before you can build the roof. And I don't know whether it's because it's what I was raised on or what it is, but I am here today to state my case for my love of Rodgers and Hammerstein, as if like it's an addiction and I have a problem. By the way, I'm really sorry. My hair doesn't want to behave today at all. So you've just got this weird, crazy, really textured thing going on. Anyway, I digress. Rodgers and Hammerstein. Richard Rodgers, Oscar Hammerstein II. Both incredibly talented men in their own respect. Richard Rodgers was working with Lorenz Hart, creating shows such as Babes in Arms, Pal Joey, The Boy from Syracuse, all fantastic shows. Lorenz Hart and Richard Rodgers did a lot for musical theatre together. Without Rodgers and Hammerstein, those two did a lot. Oscar Hammerstein worked with Jerome Kern on a little show called Showboat. Showboat is fundamentally a game changer for musical theatre. You may not enjoy... Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the score or the show itself, but that show put musical theatre where it is. It gave us what we know today. So you cannot, under any circumstances, not appreciate the work that Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein did on Showboat. Fundamental. So, eventually, Lorenz Hart became very unreliable for Richard Rodgers, so Rodgers went to Hammerstein and asked if they could work together. Oscar Hammerstein and Richard Rodgers both wanted, in their own separate partnerships, to do a musical version of a play called Green Grow the Lilies. Now, you're obviously thinking, well, they never got that off the ground because there is no musical version of Green Grow the Lilies. Wrong! Green Grow the Lilies was the play that inspired the musical Oklahoma. Oklahoma was the first musical that ever incorporated dance as a part of the narrative. Agnes DeMille's choreography of the Dream Ballet was crucial to telling the storyline from that point onwards. Usually in musical theatre, dance was there to relieve or just give a break to the rest of the performers while the dancers danced and entertained. In Oklahoma, that Dream Ballet was as much a part of the story as any scene or song. It was fundamental to the way we now view dance in the form of musical theatre. Even if I can't do it very well, I can stand at the back and sway for you. The show includes songs such as Oh What a Beautiful Morning, and if no member of your family has ever woken you up singing that, then you need to educate your family. Make them watch Oklahoma. They'll have new torture for you, I guarantee it. I can't say no. You can't say I can't say no. It is I can't say no. People will say we're in love. There are two versions of People Will Say We're in Love during the show. There's the original version in Act 1, which is where they're both kind of having a little flirt and it's lovely. There is a reprise. Reprise? Right. Let's just, whatever I say, don't call me up on it. Don't get shady. I will vary between the two. There is a reprise in Act 2, which was originally a song called Boys and Girls Like You and Me, which is in the licensed version of Cinderella for the King and Queen to sing, so Rodgers and Hammerstein was switching and chopping and changing with their catalogue. There is a filmed version of Oklahoma, and there is a recorded version with Hugh Jackman, who I actually like in that. There will be more opinions on Hugh Jackman as this channel goes on. But that's not what this video is. My second Rodgers and Hammerstein show to give to you today is Carousel. I love Carousel. It is my favourite Rodgers and Hammerstein show without a single iota of a doubt. It is beautifully constructed as a show. The music is incredible. And it is more than just a show about a man beating his wife. I feel like a lot of people who vaguely know Carousel just think it's a show where a guy beats his wife
and he's an awful person and she's a wet towel and everything else is just fluff.
No. Carousel deals with female relationships, toxic masculinity, the bond between people in times of grief. It is all things that still in 2018, for some bizarre reason, have to be hammered home today. So if you ever think that Carousel is not relevant anymore, I guarantee you're not looking deep enough. Guarantee you. Because there is so much in there that we still need. Once again, Agnes de Mille's ballet was a revolutionary part of Carousel. There was not one extended dream ballet sequence, but there were two. The overture was replaced by a ballet that told us the background to the first scene. It told us where our leading lady, Julie, came from. It told us how she met Billy. And then we get into the action. It is a beautiful waltz. Like, personally, I well up listening to it. If I Loved You, yes, as solos is overdone, but that entire bench scene is as good, if not better, than the balcony scene in West Side Story, I would personally say. That the cleverness of how it's written is just genius. It is beautiful. Mr. Snow is an incredible song for a soprano. Just an incredible song for women. Like, there is so much in it that just, oh. And What's the Use of Wondering? Now, a lot of people have a lot of issues with the song What's the Use of Wondering, because on surface level, it seems as if this woman is just saying,
Yeah, he hits me, and that's okay because I love him.
When actually, the amount of strength it takes for one person to say to another person, fight for your relationship because it's worth it, even though her relationship is going down the toilet, is just heartbreaking, because she is saying things to comfort someone else that she knows she can't believe in herself. And it just, it makes me weep.
It makes me weep.
Number 3, South Pacific. South Pacific is an incredibly deep storyline that is perfectly and beautifully set against the backdrop of World War II. In the South Pacific, it is about a woman called Nellie Forbush and a man called Emile de Beck, and then there's a secondary love story between Joe Cable and Leah, but Leah, probably behind like Lurch in Addams Family, says the least of any character I've ever known in musical theatre, considering she is like a romantic lead. She does nothing. Absolutely. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Leah. We're here to talk about the show. So South Pacific is based on 2 short stories from The Tales of the South Pacific by James A. Michener. Look it up. There's a CH, but I don't know if it's a cut or a k. I don't know. But that won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 1948. In 1950, South Pacific won the Pulitzer Prize. 2 years between them, and the same story is winning the Pulitzer Prize. That is how incredible South Pacific was. It talked about whether racism was nature or nurture, whether it was born in us or whether we are carefully taught it. It talks about single parenthood and how Emile is raising these 2 children on his own. And it also deals with the fact that Nellie Forbush can change her mind within the space of 2 incredible songs. One minute, she wants to wash that man right out of her hair, and the next minute, she's in love with a wonderful guy. I cannot gauge you, Nellie Forbush. I don't understand how your mind works or where your emotions are at, but personally, still love you. There is a recorded version with Kelly O'Hara at Live at Lincoln Center, which you can probably find somewhere. Not saying that I know you can find it out there, but if you look hard enough, I'm sure some people have watched it, not me though. There is also a film version, which is also very good, but if you can watch the Live at Lincoln Center, do that. So, one of my last shows I'm going to talk about is The King and I. The King and I is based on a book by Margaret Landon called Anna and the King of Siam. Anna Leon Owens was a real woman who went to Siam and taught the king's children, and then eventually became his secretary. And he thought she was the most difficult woman he'd ever met. And that is just my goal in life, to be considered a difficult woman by royalty. One day. I have a slight issue with the original Broadway production of The King and I, in that the King of Siam was played by Yul Brynner, who was a white man. Like, the problem doesn't exist anymore, thank God. And it was a different time, like that one racist adult will always tell you to try and excuse the racism. Sorry. And there's also this like weird pseudo-romance between Anna and the king, which I've never quite, like, is it a romance? Is it not? It's less interesting to me and more...
Well, which is it?
There's like this weird sexual chemistry, but also like hatred. It's like they just... I don't know. Who knows? But The King and I is gorgeous. There is a film version, and the film version is sublime. Also, watch Kelly O'Hara again. Kelly O'Hara is basically the modern day queen of Rodgers and Hammerstein. She's been in a lot. Watch Kelly O'Hara's quick change in the Tony Awards from her Anna the Governess dress to her Shall We Dance dress, because that quick change is precise. She does it in like, I think it's like 40 seconds. Like one full Victorian gown to another. It's phenomenal. Watch it, please. For the love of God. I'm going to give some opinions on shows that I don't know a lot about, but I have opinions about anyway. So, Flower Drum Song. The only thing I really know from Flower Drum Song is I enjoy being a girl, which is just very one-dimensional and annoys me more than anything, because I've seen about 17 different girls all play the same one-dimensional Barbie kind of way with it, and I don't believe there's anything more to that sort. Maybe I'm just not intelligent enough to see it, but I'm bored of that one way of doing it now. Cinderella on Broadway, starring Laura Osnes, was incredible. Again, I may or may not have found a way to watch it all, but I have, and it's incredible. So watch it, try and find a way if it's still out there in the world. And also I'm going to link any Tony performance I've mentioned in the comments below, and the Laura Osnes quick change dress on stage is still gets to me. It's everything I didn't know I needed, but turns out I needed it so bad. So please listen to the cast recording of every show I've mentioned. If you only like hearing modern stuff, fine. There are revivals of pretty much everything I've told you about. Yeah, there's pretty up-to-date revivals of everything I've told you about in this video. So go and enjoy the plethora of Rodgers and Hammerstein. Also, if I need to tell you about The Sound of Music, then you shouldn't have watched all this. Go and watch The Sound of Music if you've heard of none of these, and if you've not heard of The Sound of Music. Sound of Music is number 1, please. Okay? Cool. Don't watch the live version with... Oh, what's her awful name? Oh, yeah, don't watch the live version with Carrie Underwood. Well, you should, because Laura Benanti's side-eye is everything. Like, her as the governess giving them side-eyes is everything I need. Carrie Underwood as Maria is... I never needed or wanted or required that. Right guys, so that is my case for Rodgers and Hammerstein. If you disagree with anything I've said, or if you don't appreciate old school musical theatre, then let's have a discussion about it. Pop it in the comments below and we will talk. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and if you didn't enjoy, then just go back to the homepage and don't do anything. Just bye-bye. Hit the subscribe button, guys, and please have a lovely day. Love you, kids. Mwah. Bye. Also, guys, I really want to try and kind of make musical theatre actors of the video a thing. I'm going to try and do it. So, the musical theatre actress for today's video is going to be Marin Maisie. Now, recently we lost Marin Maisie to her battle with cancer, but I think she needs to be remembered for the incredible performances she gave. So please go and watch her in The King and I, which was her final role. Go and watch her in Ragtime. Her performance of Back to Before is phenomenal. Kiss Me Kate. They're probably my 3 top shows that she's in, but go and have a look for more of her because she is phenomenal. Thank you guys. Mwah.